There isn't one way to grow a business. There's a million ways to grow a business. You got to figure out what's going to work for you. You got to be strategic about it. Then you got to execute. Good morning, everybody. Today, Ruby, in her raincoat, and I are talking about growing businesses and the myriad of ways there are to grow businesses. As many businesses that are out there, there are ways to grow. However, you need to think about how those ways to grow will work for you and your organization. And so I use the Ansov model quite regularly, if anybody's familiar with that. And the idea is to say, in what format do we want to grow the business? Do we want to grow organically? And organically doesn't mean slowly necessarily, but it's doing more with what you have. The markets you're in, the products and services you have, the customer base that you want, you're gonna get better at it. You're gonna do more often, more efficiently, all of that. That's one way to grow. Second way is to take that model that you've built, that organic model, and I say organic, knowing that there's going to be a lot more accelerator pushing than just growing meanderingly. But you take that model and you take it to a new place. You can do market entry. You can go into a new market and do that on your next pivot of the business, to go and say, okay, we're going to take this model and we're going to take it to Brazil or wherever. So you can think very specifically about how you want to expand your markets based upon the model you build. Your products and services going to a new place. Great. You could become an R&D company. Lots of companies grow because they bring new things to the market, things that are very interesting, helpful to the customers that they want. And suddenly you have an R&D model that's continuously pulling out innovation, whatever that means to you in your business. But that's another way to grow a business. Bring that next big thing to the market. Or you can diversify. So you can take new things to new places. And I said it before, I'll say it again, that's really hard. I hear lots of companies that want to do that. That is the hardest thing to do. Or in a world where there are other players, there are other competitors, there are other companies that work in your space that are similarly sized, bigger or smaller, you can grow by acquisition. You don't have to wait. We can buy somebody or get bought by somebody and suddenly we're a bigger company. The terminology that I heard this week was 1 + 1 = 3. Amazing. That's a way to grow the business. So the challenge with all of that is, A, you have to pick a lane. If you're trying to do all of those things, that is a very bad idea. Which one will work the best for your organization and how you're constructed, how the business works, how the model is working in your markets. And then the second piece of that is, how strategic can we be with the choice that we make? So whether we're taking new things to new markets or just doing more of what we like to do, how can we prioritize? So I watched a video this week. Hormozi, a pretty smart guy, pretty successful guy, said, don't think of strategy as some big flowery, elusive construct. It's priorities. What are your priorities? That's a strategy. And I like that definition. I like what that indicates. It's not some fancy schmancy Harvard Business Review terminology. It's just, what priorities? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And in what order? Can't do it all. One of my favorite analogies, you can't eat the elephant all at once. You got to take some bites. Which bites in what order? That's a strategy. So thinking about your business today, how do you want to grow? And then, oh boy, do you need to become a practitioner of whatever it is that you're going to do. And the trouble is, a good chunk of companies are trying to grow in that organic, let's do more with what we have bucket. And there's nothing wrong with that, except the world has changed around them and they haven't kept up. They haven't kept pace. If you go back into my video catalogs, you will see that as a repeating topic. If you are not keeping pace with what is going on in the world around you, boy, you are in trouble. And so that's a lot of that. I mean, how many companies have I talked to over the last decade who didn't spend dime one on marketing, and they got along just fine? There was no problems. Cost of acquisition of customers was good. Sales was great. That world is falling apart fast. Why? Because buyers are changing. And they don't want to talk to your sales reps. Full stop. Marketing is going to be a door opener for everybody, full stop. How do you do that well in a world where you haven't had to do it? Some companies, it's a walk in the park. In some companies, it's going up Mount Everest with an elephant on your back. So today, think of strategy as priority setting. I love that. So I'm stealing that, Alex Hormozi. The other part of that is now understand what does that actually mean as your business goes to that next level, whatever that next level feels like for you. And then you can decide, what do we have to work on? What are those winning conditions that make us move in the direction we want, get where we need to be, build the muscles that we haven't built because we haven't had to. Marketing is the poster child for that. And then define what success looks like. How do we measure all of that? What is the measurement that we want? What are the data points? What are the KPIs? What are the pieces of the world that we think are important so that we can say we're doing a good job, we're not doing a good job? All right. That's a pretty good summation. I like that one. Anyway, now for today, Ruby says, plot your strategy as priorities, figure out how you want to grow, become practitioners of everything. Everything that you need is going to be really hard. Know that going in, but the other side of that mountain is absolute unmitigated business growth. All right. Have a great one. Walking and Talking with Ruby.